Marcus Webb was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep could fix. He was tired in his bones, in his soul. At 34 years old, he had spent 12 years writing code for a company that did not care if he lived or died. His wife had left him 6 months ago for his best friend. His apartment felt like a prison cell. So when he saw the online auction for a 200-acre ranch in Nevada for $50, he laughed. It had to be a scam. Nobody sold land that cheap, but something made him click on it anyway. The listing was strange. It said the property had unusual circumstances. The previous owners had run away in the middle of the night. Locals called it cursed. There were decades of unpaid taxes. The government just wanted someone to take it off their hands. Marcus placed a bid. He won. Just like that, he owned a ranch in the middle of nowhere for the price of a cheap dinner. 2 weeks later, he packed his old truck with everything he owned and drove into the Nevada desert. The road turned from highway to dirt path. His phone lost signal. The world became empty and brown and silent. When he finally reached the property, he stopped the truck and stared. The ranch house was old but still standing. Paint was peeling off the walls. Windows were dusty but not broken. A windmill creaked in the dry wind. Behind the house, red rock formations rose like ancient fingers pointing at the sky. Marcus smiled for the first time in months. It was ugly. It was broken. It was his. He spent the first day cleaning. The house had been empty for years, but the bones were good. Someone had built this place to last. By evening, he had cleared enough dust to sleep on the old couch without coughing. That night, he saw lights in the sky. They moved too fast to be planes, too silent to be helicopters. They danced above the rock formations behind his house, blue and green and white. Marcus watched from his window, heart beating fast. Military exercises, he told himself. There were bases out here, secret government stuff, nothing to worry about. But the ground was humming. He could feel it through his boots. The next morning, Marcus explored his property. He walked through the desert brush, past rusted farm equipment, until he reached the rock formations. Up close, he noticed something strange. There were patterns carved into the stone, not like Native American art, something different. Geometric shapes that seemed to shift when he looked at them from different angles. Behind the largest rock, hidden in shadow, he found a hole in the ground. Not a natural cave. The edges were too smooth, too perfect. Marcus should have walked away. Any smart person would have walked away. But he had bought a cursed ranch for $50. Smart was not really his thing anymore. He climbed down into the darkness. The tunnel went deeper than it should have. His flashlight revealed walls of stone that slowly changed to metal. Not rusty old metal. Shiny metal that looked like it was made yesterday. The air became warm. A soft glow appeared ahead. Marcus stepped into a chamber that took his breath away. It was huge, bigger than his entire ranch house. The walls were covered in glowing symbols that pulsed like heartbeats. Strange machines sat in the corners, covered in dust, but somehow still humming with power. In the center of the room stood a platform made of something that looked like glass but felt alive when he touched it. This was not human. Marcus knew it in his gut. Nothing on earth could build this. Before he could run, before he could scream, 3 beams of light shot down from the ceiling. The light was so bright he had to close his eyes. When he opened them again, he was not alone. 3 women stood on the platform. But they were not human women. The first was tall and silver. Her skin shimmered like metal, and glowing blue lines traced patterns across her face and arms. She stood like a soldier, straight and proud. The second was deep blue like the ocean at midnight. She had 4 arms instead of 2, and her eyes were large and curious. She held some kind of device that beeped and flashed. The third was smaller, with green skin that changed colors when she moved. She had pointed ears and cat-like eyes that looked at Marcus with obvious annoyance. The silver one spoke first. Her voice was like music and thunder mixed together. You are the one who has claimed the Velthara. Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. What? This land, the blue one said, her voice softer, kinder. You have purchased it, yes? Through the legal customs of your people? I mean, yeah, but then it is done. The silver one crossed her arms. You are the claimed guardian. The covenant is renewed. Marcus held up his hands. Okay, time out. Who are you? What are you? And what the hell is happening right now? The green one rolled her eyes. Wonderful. The fate of our species rests on a primitive who cannot even follow basic galactic law. Sin, the blue one warned. Be patient. The silver one stepped forward. I am Cathara. This is Vela, and that is Sin. We are Etherians. Our people have used this place, what we call the Velthara, for sacred bonding ceremonies for over 10,000 of your years. Sacred bonding ceremonies, Marcus repeated slowly. Mating rituals, Sin said bluntly. This is our species' mating ground, and you just bought it. Congratulations, you are now legally our husband. Marcus stared at her, then at Cathara, then at Vela. Then he started laughing. He laughed so hard, tears came out of his eyes. Okay, he said, wiping his face. Good one. Who put you up to this? Is there a camera somewhere? Cathara did not smile. She waved her hand, and a hologram appeared in the air. It showed Earth, small and blue, surrounded by a web of glowing lines. Beyond those lines, hundreds of ships waited. Dark ships with weapons that made Marcus's stomach drop. The Etherian Empire has protected your world for 10,000 years, Cathara said. Those barriers keep the Vraxian hegemony and others from harvesting your species. But our empire is dying. We need new bloodlines to survive. And the protection of Earth depends on the Velthara covenant being honored. She looked at Marcus with eyes that held no humor at all. If you refuse us, the barriers fall, and those ships you see will reach Earth in approximately 3 of your days. Marcus stopped laughing. You have 30 days to decide, Vela said gently. We understand this is much to accept, but please understand us as well. We are not here to force you. We are here because we have no other choice. Sin crossed her arms. So, will you save your planet, human? Or will you let everyone you have ever known die because you cannot handle something unusual? Marcus looked at the hologram, at the ships, at the 3 alien women who had just told him the universe was bigger and more dangerous than he had ever imagined. He had wanted peace and quiet. He had wanted to be left alone. The universe, it seemed, had other plans. He purchased a $50 ranch on Earth and found 3 alien women claiming it was sacred mating ground. Part 2. Marcus did not sleep that night. He sat on the porch of his ranch house, staring at the stars, knowing now that something was staring back. The Etherians had given him space. They stayed in their ship, which was invisible to human eyes, but parked somewhere above his property. Cathara had said they would return in the morning to discuss things further. Marcus had nodded like a man in a dream. Now the dream was fading, and the reality was setting in. Aliens were real. Earth was protected by a dying empire, and 3 alien women expected him to become their husband to save his species. He laughed again, but there was no humor in it this time. When the sun rose, a beam of light deposited the 3 Etherians in his front yard. Cathara was in full armor this time, silver metal that matched her skin. Vela carried a bag full of strange equipment. Sin looked like she wanted to be anywhere else in the galaxy. You have not run away, Cathara observed. This is promising. Running requires energy, Marcus said. I spent all mine trying not to have a complete mental breakdown. Vela approached him with something that looked like a tablet. I have prepared information about our species, history, biology, culture. If you are to make an informed decision, you should understand who we are. Marcus took the device. The screen adjusted to show words in English. He looked at Vela with surprise. We have studied your world for some time, she explained, all four of her hands folding together. Your languages, your customs, it was necessary for eventual contact. So you knew this day would come? Cathara shook her head. We knew contact would happen eventually. We did not expect it to happen because a human bought our sacred ground for $50. Sin snorted. The universe has a terrible sense of humor. Marcus spent the morning reading. What he learned made his head spin. The Etherians had once ruled 1,000 worlds. They were warriors and artists, builders and explorers. Their empire had stretched across an entire arm of the galaxy. Then came the war with the Vraxians, a species that saw all other life as resources to be consumed. The Etherians had been winning, until someone released the silence. It was a weapon, a disease, designed to target only Etherian males. Within a generation, every male in their species was dead. The women survived. The children survived. But they could not reproduce alone. For 10,000 years, they had searched for compatible species. They had used genetic engineering to keep their numbers stable, but it was not enough. Each generation was smaller than the last. The Etherian Empire was becoming the Etherian memory. Compatible species are rare, Vela explained when Marcus finished reading. Our genetics are complex. Most species cannot mix with us at all. But humans... Her large eyes brightened. Humans are almost perfect. Your DNA is similar enough to bond, different enough to strengthen our bloodlines. Why Earth? Marcus asked. Why this ranch specifically? The Velthara is not just a piece of land, Cathara said. Beneath your property is ancient technology, a beacon, a sacred site. Our ancestors placed it here when your species was still living in caves. They saw potential in humanity even then. The ceremony must happen here, Sin added. The technology amplifies the bonding process. Without it, any children born would be weaker, more vulnerable. Marcus rubbed his temples. And if I say no, you find someone else? We try, Cathara said. But the search takes time, years, perhaps decades. During that time, the protection around your world weakens. The Vraxians have already noticed. They are watching, waiting for their chance. So no pressure, Marcus muttered. Sin stepped forward, her green skin shifting to a darker shade. Let me make this simple, human. You did not ask for this. We did not ask for this either. I did not want to be shipped across the galaxy to mate with an alien on a primitive world. But here we are. The question is not whether this situation is fair. The question is what you are going to do about it. For a moment, Marcus saw something behind her anger. Fear. Loneliness. The weight of carrying an entire species on shoulders too young for such burdens. He understood that feeling. Okay, he said slowly. I am not saying yes to the whole mating ceremony thing, but I am not saying no either. Give me the 30 days. Let me get to know you, all of you. Not as my future wives or whatever, but as people. Can you do that? The three Etherians exchanged glances. This was clearly not how their rituals usually worked. Vela spoke first. What exactly are you proposing? Dating, Marcus said. It is a human custom. People spend time together before they commit to anything permanent. They talk, they share meals, they learn about each other. We do not eat the same food as you, Sin pointed out. Then we figure something out. The point is, I am not going to marry anyone I do not know. That goes for humans. It definitely goes for aliens. Cathara considered this. You would reject the covenant if we do not satisfy your dating requirements? I would reject the covenant if I do not feel a genuine connection with you. I have already had one marriage with no connection. It ended badly. I will not make that mistake again, even to save the world. Silence stretched between them. Then, unexpectedly, Vela smiled. I have studied human pair bonding rituals. This dating concept is fascinating. Sharing experiences to build emotional intimacy. It is actually quite similar to the first phase of our ceremony. You see, Marcus said, we are not so different. The next 2 weeks were strange and wonderful and terrifying. Marcus showed the Etherians his world. He took them hiking through the desert at sunset, explaining how humans found beauty in empty places. He taught them to cook human food, laughing when Sin accidentally set the stove on fire. He showed them movies on his old laptop, watching their faces as they experienced human stories for the first time. In return, they shared pieces of themselves. Cathara told him about the battles she had fought, the world she had failed to save. She spoke of watching her civilization crumble, one system at a time, unable to stop it. At night, she stood guard outside the ranch house, even though Marcus told her it was unnecessary. Protecting was all she knew how to do. Vela shared her research, her years of studying humanity from afar. She had recordings of human music, human art, human history. Your species is so young, she said one evening, but you create such beauty. It gives me hope. Sin was the hardest to reach. She kept her walls up, snapping at Marcus whenever he got too close, but slowly he learned her story too. She was the youngest daughter of a dying noble house. This mission was supposed to be an honor. Instead, it felt like exile. One night, Marcus found her sitting alone in the desert, staring at the stars. That one, she said, pointing at a faint light. That is where I was born. It is 70,000 light years from here. I will probably never see it again. Marcus sat down beside her. I am sorry. For what? You did not destroy my world. You did not send me here. No, but I am sorry you are hurting. Sin was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was small. I do not want to become like Cathara, so focused on duty that she forgets to live. I see her losing herself piece by piece. And I am terrified that the same thing will happen to me. It will not, Marcus said. I will not let it. She looked at him with surprise. You barely know me. I know enough. You are angry because you care. You fight because you have not given up. Those are not the traits of someone who will lose themselves. For the first time since they met, Sin did not have a sharp response. She just looked at him, really looked at him, and something in her eyes softened. But the moment was interrupted by a sound that made Marcus's blood run cold. An explosion in the sky. Ships appearing from nowhere, dark and jagged, with weapons already firing. Cathara's voice crackled from somewhere nearby. Vraxians! They have sent a scout ship. They are testing our defenses. Marcus stood up, heart pounding. He had no weapons, no training. No way to fight aliens with technology centuries beyond his own. But as a Vraxian shuttle descended toward his ranch, weapons hot and ready, Marcus Webb did the only thing a human could do in that situation. He walked toward it. He purchased a $50 ranch on Earth and found 3 alien women claiming it was sacred mating ground. Part 3. The Vraxian shuttle landed in a cloud of dust and fire. It was ugly, all black metal and sharp angles, like someone had built a ship out of knives. The hatch opened with a hiss, and something stepped out. Marcus had seen scary things in movies. This was worse. The Vraxian was 8 feet tall with a body like an insect and a mantis. It had too many arms, too many eyes, and a mouth full of things that were definitely not teeth. Its armor seemed to be part of its body, growing from its skin like a shell. It saw Marcus and made a sound like metal scraping on stone. A laugh, maybe, or a threat. Behind him, Marcus heard Cathara shouting. She wanted him to run, to get behind her, to let her handle this. But Marcus kept walking forward. The Vraxian tilted its head, curious, probably wondering why its prey was approaching instead of fleeing. Marcus stopped 10 feet away from the creature. His legs were shaking. His heart was trying to escape through his throat. But his voice was steady when he spoke. "You are a long way from home." The Vraxian's translator crackled. "Human, small, weak. Why do you not run?" "Running seems pointless. If you wanted me dead, I would already be dead. So you are here for something else." The creature studied him with those horrible eyes. "Clever. For a primitive. I am here to scout, to test. The barriers around your world are weakening. My masters wish to know why. And if I told you the barriers are fine, that you should go home and tell your masters to forget about Earth." The Vraxian made that scraping sound again. Definitely a laugh. "You think words can stop the hegemony? We have consumed 100 worlds. We will consume yours." "Maybe," Marcus said, "but not today." He took a step closer. The Vraxian's arms twitched, ready to strike. But it did not attack. Not yet. "Here is what I know," Marcus continued. "You are a scout. Your job is to gather information, not to start wars. If you kill me, and Earth turns out to be better protected than you thought, you will be the one responsible for a failed invasion. Your masters do not seem like the forgiving type." The Vraxian went still. "So here is my offer. Go home. Tell your masters that Earth is not worth the trouble. The Etherians are still here. Their defenses are still strong. And humans—" Marcus smiled, even though his insides were liquid with fear. "Humans are unpredictable. You have seen our history. You know what we do when we are backed into a corner." Silence stretched between them. The desert wind blew dust across the ground. Finally, the Vraxian spoke. "You gamble with the lives of your species. Humans are good at gambling. Sometimes we win." The creature stared at him for a long moment. Then it turned and walked back to its shuttle. "The hegemony will return, human. Your species is meat. Nothing more. Enjoy your brief reprieve." The shuttle lifted off and vanished into the sky. Marcus stood there until it was completely gone. Then his legs gave out and he sat down hard in the dirt. Cathara reached him first, pulling him to his feet. "That was the most foolish thing I have ever witnessed. You could have been killed, but I was not. You had no weapons, no armor, nothing." "I had words," Marcus said. "Sometimes that is enough." Vela and Sin arrived, both looking shaken. Sin's skin was flickering through colors faster than Marcus had ever seen. "You faced a Vraxian soldier," she said quietly. "With nothing." "Why?" Marcus shrugged. "Someone had to. And you three were busy being worried about me. Seemed like a waste of good warriors." Cathara shook her head slowly. "We have underestimated your species. You have no claws, no natural weapons, no ability to survive in space. Yet you stood against a Vraxian with nothing but your voice and your courage. Is that not what the ceremony tests for?" Marcus asked. "Compatibility? Maybe this is what humans bring to the table. We are too stupid to know when we should be afraid." Vela laughed, a surprised and musical sound. "That is not stupidity. That is something else entirely." The Vraxian encounter changed things. The Etherians no longer looked at Marcus like a burden they had to accept. They looked at him like a partner. But new problems were arriving. Marcus's neighbor, Hank Reeves, had noticed the lights and explosions. Hank was a retired military man, suspicious by nature, and he had been watching the ranch since Marcus arrived. Now he was making calls to old friends in places with letters instead of names. 3 days after the Vraxian scout left, black SUVs appeared on the road leading to the ranch. "We have company," Marcus told the Etherians. "Human company, and they are probably not here to welcome you to the neighborhood." The decision was made quickly. The Etherians would stay hidden while Marcus dealt with his own species. Easier said than done. A woman in a crisp suit stepped out of the lead vehicle. She was middle-aged, sharp-eyed, with the look of someone who had seen things that would break normal people. "Mr. Webb, I am Agent Diana Vance. We need to talk about the unusual activity on your property." Marcus played dumb for about 5 minutes. Then Vance showed him satellite photos of the Vraxian shuttle landing. Photos of energy signatures that no human technology could explain. Photos of 3 figures that were clearly not human standing in his front yard. "You can keep lying," Vance said calmly, "or you can tell me what is happening and maybe we can help each other." Marcus looked at the photos, then at the soldiers surrounding his house, then back at Vance. "You really want to know?" "That is why I am here." Marcus sighed. "Okay, but you are going to need a drink first." He told her everything: the ranch, the Etherians, the Vraxians, the protection grid around Earth. Vance listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. "You expect me to believe that 3 alien women want to marry you to save their species?" "I did not believe it either." "Want to meet them?" Vance hesitated. Then she nodded. Sin decloaked first, appearing beside Marcus in a shimmer of light. Vance's soldiers raised their weapons. Sin raised an eyebrow. "Your projectile weapons are cute," she said. "They would not even scratch my armor." "Stand down," Vance ordered her team. She approached Sin slowly, studying her like a scientist examining a new specimen. "You are really not from Earth." "Obviously." Cathara and Vela appeared next. For a moment, everyone just stared at each other. 2 species meeting properly for the first time. "We do not wish to harm your world," Cathara said. "We wish to protect it. We have been protecting it for 10,000 years. Vance processed this. "And the threat? The Vraxians?" "They will return," Vela said. "The scout was only the beginning. Their fleet is gathering. We estimate 6 months before a full invasion force arrives." 6 months. Vance's face hardened. "What do we need to do?" Marcus blinked. "Wait, you believe us?" "Mr. Webb, I have spent my career investigating things that should not exist. Compared to some of the files on my desk, aliens protecting Earth is almost normal." She turned back to Cathara. "If there is a war coming, humanity needs to know. We need to prepare." Cathara hesitated. "Your species is not ready for the truth." "Maybe not, but you do not get to make that choice for us." The next week was chaos. Vance made calls. Governments were informed in secret meetings. The world teetered on the edge of the biggest revelation in human history. Meanwhile, the ceremony continued. Marcus had passed the first trial without realizing it. His confrontation with the Vraxian, his protection of the Etherians, his bridge building between species. These were all tests of character, and he had passed them. Now came the trial of understanding. Vela explained it simply. "We must share our minds. You will see our memories. We will see yours. There can be no secrets between partners." Marcus agreed. That night in the chamber beneath the ranch, he sat with all 3 Etherians while Vela activated the ancient technology. He saw their lives. He saw Cathara as a young soldier, watching her father die in battle. He saw her promotions, her victories, her losses. He felt her grief as world after world fell to the Vraxians. He saw Vela alone in research stations, surrounded by data but starving for connection. He felt her hope when she discovered humans, her belief that maybe this time things would be different. He saw Sin as a child, playing in gardens that no longer existed. He felt her anger when she was chosen for this mission. Her fear that she would never see home again. And they saw him, his childhood, his failed marriage, his empty career, the loneliness that had driven him to buy a $50 ranch in the middle of nowhere. When it was over, they all sat in silence, tears on every face. "We are all broken," Vela said softly. but perhaps together we can be whole. Marcus looked at the three women who had invaded his life. Cathara, the warrior who had forgotten how to rest. Vela, the scientist who had never been truly seen. Sin, the rebel who was afraid to hope. "Yeah," he said, "maybe we can." Outside, the stars wheeled overhead. Somewhere in the darkness, the Vraxians were coming. But for the first time, Marcus was not afraid. He purchased a $50 ranch on Earth and found 3 alien women claiming it was sacred mating ground. Part 4. The ancient technology beneath the ranch began to wake up. It started with small things, lights flickering in patterns, machines humming louder than before, the geometric symbols on the walls pulsing faster, like a heart beating with excitement. Then the voice came. It was old, tired, angry. It spoke in a language that made Marcus's head hurt, but somehow he understood every word. "The Covenant has been corrupted. The Velthara was meant for worthy successors, not these primitives." Cathara dropped to one knee. Her face had gone pale. "The Emperor's archive, it still functions." "The what?" Marcus asked. Vela was already moving, her 4 hands flying over strange controls. "Our last Emperor, before he died, he preserved his consciousness in the seed vaults, places like this one. We thought they were all destroyed." The holographic form appeared in the center of the chamber. It looked like an Etherian male, tall and proud, with silver skin like Cathara, but eyes that burned with ancient fire. "Cathara of House Velthorn," the Emperor said, "your bloodline has fallen far. You bring humans into our sacred places. You defile the ceremony with inferior genetics." "My Emperor," Cathara said, her voice shaking. "We had no choice. The males are gone. Our species is dying. Humanity is compatible. Humanity is cattle." The Emperor's form flickered. Weapons began emerging from the walls, ancient but still deadly. "I will purge this contamination. The bloodline must remain pure." Marcus stepped forward. "Hey, ancient ghost guy. Maybe calm down for a second?" The Emperor turned those burning eyes on him. "You dare address me, insect?" "Insect, primitive, cattle. You guys really need some new insults." Marcus held up his hands. "Look, I get it. You are mad. Your empire fell. Everything you built is gone. That is rough, but killing us is not going to bring it back. It will preserve what remains. Will it? Look at them." Marcus pointed at Cathara, Vela, and Sin. "These are your descendants, the last of your people. You spent 10,000 years keeping your species alive. Are you really going to destroy that because you do not like their choice of partner?" The Emperor was silent. The weapons remained pointed at them. Before anyone could speak, alarms started blaring throughout the chamber. Vela's devices lit up with warnings. "The Vraxian fleet," she said, her voice tight. "They are here. Hundreds of ships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of your solar system." Marcus felt his stomach drop. 6 months. You said we had 6 months. The scout must have reported early. They are moving faster than expected. The Emperor's hologram looked upward, as if he could see the approaching fleet through miles of rock and sky. "The Vraxians. They still hunt us." "They hunt all of us now," Cathara said. "Humans included. My Emperor, whatever you think of our choices, the enemy is out there, not in here." Outside, more chaos was unfolding. Agent Vance's team had set up a command post on the ranch, and now they were receiving reports from every military installation on Earth. Strange ships detected, governments panicking. The world waking up to the fact that it was no longer alone in the universe. Vance found Marcus as he emerged from the underground chamber. "We have a problem," she said. "Just one? That seems optimistic." "The Etherians have 1 ship. The Vraxians have 300. The math is not good. Marcus looked at the sky. It was still blue and peaceful, but he knew that was temporary. Somewhere up there, death was coming. What do we have? Everything. Every military on Earth is mobilizing. Missiles, jets, satellites. But our weapons are primitive compared to theirs. We might as well be throwing rocks. Then we need to be smarter than rocks. Marcus gathered everyone in the chamber. Cathara, Vela, Sin, Agent Vance, the Emperor's hologram, a handful of scientists who had been called in to study the alien technology. He stood in the center and looked at each of them. We are outgunned and outmatched. The Vraxians expect us to be easy prey, so we need to be the opposite of easy. What do you propose? Cathara asked. Split up. Hit them from multiple angles. Make them think we are stronger than we are. Marcus turned to the Emperor. You have knowledge in that ancient brain of yours. Weapons, tactics, weaknesses. Are you going to help us, or are you going to sulk while your species gets wiped out? The Emperor's eyes flickered. You speak to me as if we are equals. Right now we are. Your empire is gone. My planet is about to be invaded. We are both desperate. So are you in or out? Long silence. Then slowly, the Emperor's form solidified. The weapons on the walls retracted. The Vraxians have a weakness, he said. Their ships are connected to a central command node. Destroy the node, and their coordination collapses. Where is the node? On their flagship, the largest ship in the fleet. Vela pulled up a holographic map. That one. It is the size of a small moon. Great, Sin muttered. We just have to destroy a moon. Marcus looked at the map, at the hundreds of enemy ships, at the single Etherian vessel that was their only real weapon. Can we get close enough to board it? Everyone stared at him. Board it? Vance repeated. You want to board an alien warship? They are not expecting it. They think we are going to sit here and wait to die. What if we do not? What if we attack first? Cathara's eyes widened. That is insane. Maybe. But is it wrong? The battle that followed would be remembered for generations. The Etherian ship, piloted by Cathara, punched through the Vraxian line in a maneuver that should have been impossible. It drew fire from dozens of ships, while human forces created distractions from Earth, launching everything they had into space. Most of the human missiles were shot down. But they served their purpose. The Vraxians were confused, spread thin, trying to deal with threats from multiple directions. While the chaos unfolded, a smaller shuttle detached from the Etherian vessel. Aboard were Marcus, Vela, Sin, and a team of human soldiers who had volunteered despite knowing they might not survive. This is a terrible idea, Sin said as they approached the flagship. You have mentioned that, Marcus replied. I want it on record. Noted. They breached the flagship through a maintenance hatch. Fighting their way through corridors full of Vraxian soldiers, the humans were outmatched in strength and technology, but they fought anyway. Some fell, others kept going. Marcus had never fired a gun in his life before this mission. Now he was fighting aliens on a spaceship. The universe had a strange sense of humor. Vela led them to the command node, her forearms working simultaneously to bypass security systems. Sin guarded her back, her green skin now a deep, furious red. Almost there, Vela said. I just need more time. We do not have more time, Marcus said. Vraxians were closing in from every direction. The soldiers with him were running out of ammunition. He made a decision. Everyone fall back to the shuttle. Vela, finish your work. I will hold them off. You will die. Cathara's voice crackled through the communicator. She was still on her ship, fighting impossible odds. Maybe, but you three will not. And that is what matters. Marcus stood at the corridor junction, human weapons in his hands, facing an army of monsters. He thought about his old life. The cubicle, the divorce, the emptiness. This was better, This meant something. The Vraxians charged. Marcus fired. He did not know how long he lasted. Seconds. Minutes. It felt like forever. He was hit. Again and again, his body failing but his will refusing to break. Then the lights went out. Vela had destroyed the command node. Across the Vraxian fleet, ships lost coordination. They crashed into each other, fired on allies, fell into chaos. The invasion collapsed. Marcus collapsed too. He woke up in the medical bay of the Etherian ship. Cathara, Vela, and Sin were standing over him, their faces wet with tears. "You idiot," Sin whispered. "You wonderful, stupid idiot." Marcus tried to smile. It hurt. "Did we win?" "We won," Cathara said. "The Vraxians are retreating. Earth is safe." "Good." He closed his eyes. "That is good." The ceremony completed itself without fanfare. In the chamber beneath the ranch, as Marcus recovered from his wounds, the ancient technology recognized what had already formed between them. They were bonded, partners, a family. The Emperor's hologram appeared one last time. "You have earned my respect, human. You are stubborn, reckless, completely insane." He paused. "My people could use more of that." Then he was gone, leaving behind only the knowledge stored in the Velthera. Marcus sat on his porch a week later, watching the sunset with his three partners. Earth was changed forever. Humanity knew about aliens now. The world would never be the same. But here, on his $50 ranch, things were peaceful. "So," Sin said, leaning against him, "what happens now?" "Now?" Marcus looked at Cathara, at Vela, at Sin. "Now we build something new, together." Cathara smiled. It was the first real smile he had ever seen from her. "I think I would like that." Vela took his hand. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Marcus nodded. Together. The stars came out overhead, and for the first time in his life, Marcus Webb felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. He purchased a $50 ranch on Earth and found 3 alien women claiming it was sacred mating ground. Part 5. 1 year had passed since the Vraxian invasion. The ranch that Marcus bought for $50 was now the center of the most important building on Earth. They called it the Terra Ether Nexus. It was part embassy, part research center, part home. Ships from a dozen worlds visited every week. Humanity had joined the galactic community, and everything was different. Marcus stood on the balcony of the main complex, looking out at the Nevada desert. The old ranch house was still there, preserved in the middle of all the new construction. Some things were too important to tear down. Behind him, 3 babies were crying. He smiled and walked back inside. Cathara was holding the eldest, a boy with silver skin and human eyes. Vela had the middle child, a girl with blue skin and 4 tiny arms. Sin was struggling with the youngest, another girl with green skin that kept changing colors based on her mood. "They are hungry again," Sin said, exhausted. "They are always hungry." "They are growing," Vela said. "Hybrid children require more energy than pure Etherians. It is fascinating. It is exhausting." Marcus took the youngest from Sin's arms. The baby stopped crying almost immediately, looking up at him with curious golden eyes. "You have a gift," Cathara observed. "They always come for you." "That is because I am the one who feeds them at 3 in the morning. They have learned to associate my face with food." Life had settled into something like normal. Strange and wonderful, but normal. Marcus had gone from being a lonely software engineer to being a husband, a father, and the unofficial ambassador between 2 species. He still was not sure how any of it had happened, but he would not trade it for anything. The peace did not last. It came as a message from deep space. The communication arrays picked it up in the middle of the night. Vela woke Marcus with fear in her eyes. Something is coming, she said. Something worse than the Vraxians. The message was simple. It played on every frequency, in every language known to the Etherians. The hybrid experiment will be terminated. Genetic corruption will be purged. Prepare for cleansing. Marcus felt cold. Who sent this? Vela's voice was barely a whisper. The Silence Weavers. The name meant nothing to Marcus, but the effect on the Etherians was immediate. Cathara went pale. Sin started shaking. Even the normally calm Vela looked terrified. They are the ones who killed our males, Cathara explained. The ones who created the weapon that nearly destroyed our species. We thought they had disappeared. We hoped they had died. But they have been watching, waiting. What do they want? Purity. They believe that each species should remain separate. Mixing genetics is a crime to them, the existence of our children. She looked at the babies sleeping in the next room. To them, our children are abominations. The Silence Weavers were not like the Vraxians. They did not send fleets or armies. They were something older, something stranger. They existed partly in normal space and partly in dimensions that humans could barely imagine. They were not a species. They were an idea made real. And they were coming to destroy everything Marcus loved. There must be a way to fight them, Marcus said. There is always a way. No one has ever defeated them, Sin said quietly. They have been enforcing their genetic purity for millions of years. Species that resist simply vanish. Then we will be the first. Vela had been studying the old emperor's knowledge for months. In it, she found something. A possibility. A desperate chance. The Silence Weavers exist in two places at once, she explained. Their bodies are in our reality, but their minds are in subspace. If someone could enter subspace and confront them directly... Someone? Marcus asked. Someone like who? Someone connected to both human and Etherian thought patterns. The bonding ceremony changed you, Marcus. You carry traces of our neural signatures now. You might be able to survive the transition. Might? There are no guarantees. Marcus looked at his partners, at his children, at the world he had stumbled into and learned to love. If I do not do this, what happens? They send a virus first, Vela said. It is already spreading through our communication networks. It targets hybrid genetics. Our children will die within days. Then they come for the rest of us. Marcus did not hesitate. Show me what I need to do. The preparations took 3 days. 3 days of watching his children grow weaker as the virus spread through their small bodies. 3 days of Vela and Cathara working without sleep to build the device that would send Marcus into subspace. 3 days of Sin sitting by the babies, refusing to leave their side. On the 4th day, Marcus said goodbye. I am not good with words, Cathara said, holding him tightly. But you have given me something I never expected to find. Purpose, hope, love. Whatever happens, know that you changed everything. Vela pressed her forehead against his. In my studies, I found many compatible species, but I never found one like you. Humans are special, Marcus. You most of all. Sin did not say anything. She just kissed him, hard and desperate, and full of everything she could not express out loud. Then Marcus stepped onto the platform, and the world dissolved. Subspace was not a place. It was a feeling, cold and dark and infinite. Marcus felt himself stretched across distances that should not exist. His consciousness spread thin like butter on too much bread. And then they were there. The Silence Weavers appeared as vast shapes in the darkness. Not bodies, not faces, just presence, ancient and terrible and completely certain of their own righteousness. Human. The word came from everywhere at once. You should not be here. Yeah, I get that a lot. Your children are abominations. Your bond is a corruption. The genetic lines must remain pure. Why? Marcus asked. What is so important about purity? Silence. Then, chaos. When species mix, chaos follows. Wars, destruction. We have watched civilizations tear themselves apart because of genetic instability. We prevent this. We maintain order. By killing children? By wiping out entire species? By protecting the galaxy from itself? Marcus felt the weight of their certainty. Millions of years of watching the universe burn, of trying to stop the fires before they started. In their own twisted way, they believed they were the good guys, but they were wrong. "Let me show you something," Marcus said. He opened his mind. He showed them humanity, not the wars or the destruction, though those were there too. He showed them the art, the music, the way humans fell in love with beings they had never met before, the way they built families out of strangers, the way they refused to give up even when everything seemed hopeless. He showed them the Etherians, not the dying empire, but the survivors, the mothers who carried their species on their shoulders, the scientists who never stopped searching for hope, the warriors who fought knowing they could not win but fighting anyway. He showed them his children, 3 tiny lives, neither fully human nor fully Etherian, but something new, something beautiful. "You are so afraid of chaos," Marcus said, "that you have forgotten what it can create. Yes, mixing leads to conflict, but it also leads to growth, to change, to evolution. You want a galaxy that never changes. That is not life, that is death." The Silence Weavers were quiet for a long time. "You cannot know the future," they finally said. "Your children may grow into monsters. Your species may destroy everything. Maybe, or maybe we will build something amazing. You do not know either." Marcus pushed forward, feeling his consciousness strain against their presence. "Here is my offer. Give us time. 1,000 years. Watch us. If we become the threat you fear, come back and end us. But if we prove you wrong, leave us alone forever." "You would gamble with your entire species?" "Humans are gamblers. We always have been. It is how we survived ice ages and plagues and our own stupidity. Sometimes you have to bet everything on a better tomorrow." The darkness rippled. The Silence Weavers considered, and then, incredibly, they agreed. 1,000 years. We will observe. Do not make us regret this mercy." They withdrew. The virus died, and Marcus fell back into his own body. He woke up in the medical bay surrounded by his family. The children were crying, but healthy cries, hungry cries, the cries of babies who were going to live. "You did it," Vela whispered. "You actually did it." "Told you," Marcus said weakly. "Humans are stubborn." 50 years passed. Marcus was old now, though Etherian medicine had kept him healthier than any human his age had a right to be. He sat on the porch of the original ranch house, the same porch where everything had started, and watched the sunset. His children were adults. His grandchildren played in the yard, a beautiful mix of human and Etherian features. Ships from 100 worlds filled the sky above, all visiting the planet that had become a beacon of hope in a dark galaxy. Kythera sat beside him, her silver hair now streaked with white. Vela was on his other side, her 4 arms wrapped around herself against the evening chill. Sin was inside, making something that smelled terrible, but that she insisted was delicious. "Do you ever regret it?" Kythera asked. "Regret what?" "All of it. The ceremony, the battles, giving up your quiet life for this." Marcus looked at her, at Vela, at the grandchildren laughing in the yard, at the stars coming out overhead. "I bought this ranch because I wanted to be alone," he said. "I thought that was what I needed, peace and quiet and nobody bothering me." He smiled. "I was wrong. What I needed was purpose, connection, Family. I just did not know where to find it. And you found it with us, Vela said. I found it with you. The universe dumped 3 alien women in my backyard and told me to figure it out. Turns out that was exactly what I needed. Sin emerged from the house with a plate of something purple and steaming. Stop being sentimental and eat. You are getting too thin. I am 84 years old. I think I am allowed to be thin. Not on my watch. They ate together as the stars came out. Somewhere up there, the Silence Weavers were watching. They would keep watching for another 950 years. Marcus did not mind. Let them watch. Let them see what humanity and their allies could build. The children want to know if you will tell them the story again, Sin said, about how you faced the Vraxian scout with nothing but words. Marcus groaned. I have told that story 1,000 times. They want to hear it 1,001. He looked at his partners, his family, the life he had built from nothing but stubbornness and love. Fine, he said, standing up slowly. But I am adding more drama this time. Maybe a sword fight. There was no sword fight, Cathara pointed out. There is now. I am the one telling the story. He walked toward the house where his grandchildren waited, ready to hear about the adventures of their grandfather one more time. Behind him, 3 women watched him go. He never changes, Sin said softly. Would you want him to? Vela asked. Cathara smiled. No, I would not change anything. Above them, the stars shone bright. The universe was vast and dangerous and full of things that wanted to destroy everything they had built. But tonight, on a ranch that had started with a $50 purchase and ended with the salvation of 2 species, all was well. Marcus Webb had found what he was looking for, and it had been worth every penny. The end.